नमस्ते और आप सभी का स्वागत है एक बार पुनः AMA एपिसोड 92 में. Welcoming you all to episode 92 of the AMA. Remember how to ask questions. You can ask questions either via Super Chat or via WhatsApp. How to ask via WhatsApp? The number is scrolling below the screen. Okay, so here we go. सुपर चैट और व्हाट्सएप के माध्यम से आप प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं. और व्हाट्सएप से कैसे पूछेंगे वो नंबर आपकी स्क्रीन पर नीचे चल रहा है. ओके, हियर वी गो. महेश मधुर जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपके अप्रतिम सहयोग के लिए. योर अनपैरेलल्ड कंट्रीब्यूशन. थैंक यू सो मच महेश मधुर जी. Thank you so much. You've been wonderful. Next, Karan Khaitan. Which Abrahamic value should we discard and which one should we retain if and when we embark on a decolonization journey in future in India? Well, uh, which we should discard? I think that's very well known. Almost all the values, especially the dogmatic values, the blind belief, all that we need to discard. Which one should we retain? Well, the only good value that I can find is a sense of regimentation. That is something that I think we need to learn. And the zeal of expansion. I think we also need to be expansionists because we cannot keep waging a defensive war forever. So we need to be expansionist too. So these two, I think we should retain. Sanatan essence. Okay, Sanatan essence. How long a religion or belief system born from out of Stockholm syndrome would survive? Could you please host some eminent psychiatrist, psychologist for comprehensive discussion on this? I'm not quite sure what you want to talk about. Certainly, Hindu Dharma is not born out of Stockholm syndrome. There may be a few people who may use Stockholm syndrome to continue, but they are Hindus only in name, or as we call them, Hino, Hindu in name only. Next. MK तस्लीमा नसरीन सलमान रुश्दी को कृपया जेडी पर बुलाएं. तस्लीमा नसरीन को तो एक बुलाया था, उन्होंने कोई हमें रिस्पांस नहीं दिया. Salman Rushdie, of course, beyond reach. He has too many protocols to follow, so he is beyond our reach. Next. Abhinash, Sanjay ji, namaskar. How to counter my Librandu friends' logic? If Britishers had not ruled, enslaved us, we wouldn't have telegraph and train, etc. I feel like thrashing their face, but somehow I control myself. Well, they brought telegraph and train only to consolidate the colonization. And there is nothing in the world in scientific development, especially civilization and open civilization and assimilating civilization like ours, would have assimilated science very easily. In fact, if it had not been enslaved by Islamic imperialism, it would probably have engineered and pioneered these inventions by itself. As you know, that we have dealt with the history of science so many times. The history of science clearly predicates that India was far ahead of everybody else. So this is a ridiculous logic. Devashish is K. Annamalai, Hindutwadi leader and game changer in South, or just Sabka Saath Sabka Vishwaswadi secular leader? Well, what our people whom I have interacted with, they are saying that he is a Hindutwadi leader, but then the leadership at the top is Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabki Tripti types. So, how long can he go against the grain? That is the question. Next. I had a fight with a stupid Afghani. He was boasting that they defeated all superpowers. What is this false sense of inaccurate pride among these guys? I reminded them of Genghis Khan and Mongols who slaughtered Afghanis so badly that entire Afghanistan was filled with rivers of blood. Educate them. I think they are uh, beyond that, and they are so deep into the excreta that they have created for themselves that I don't think they need to be rescued, not at least by us. Anybody wants to rescue them, let Pakistan do it. After all, brotherhood. Next, अभिषेक जी, प्रणाम संजय जी, मैंने सुना है कि हिंदू धर्म में बैम्बू जलाना वर्जित है, इसलिए अगरबत्ती की जगह धूप कपूर जलाना चाहिए। तो ये अगरबत्ती दरगाह वालों की देन है क्या? संभवतः ऐसा हो सकता है कि हमारे यहाँ बिल्कुल आपकी बात है, बांस जलाना वर्जित इसलिए है क्योंकि हम ध्रुआ नहीं जलाते। ध्रुआ मतलब घास, और बैम्बू इज अ ग्रास। दिस इज समथिंग दैट वाज नोन टू हमारे पूर्वजों को, ये बहुत पहले से ज्ञात था। और चूंकि दूरवा यानी धूप जलाई नहीं जाती, घास हम जलाते नहीं हैं, तो इसलिए बांस को भी जलाना वर्जित था। नेक्स्ट, Vedantvi sir, who had put Ashoka Chakra in our national flag. This is popularly credited to Lehru ji, Chacha Lehru. Next, Shivam sir, is media and internet in our favor? Media may not be in our favor, but internet is neutral, so you can use internet the way you like. We are being crushed by social media, West media, in the name of guidelines. Those are platforms. Yes. Is it not the time to have our own systems? You can have our own systems if you um, have certain support systems, and you can have your own systems also. I think there are some that are doing well already, such as coup. But what is a surprise is that the government, which otherwise talks of Atmanirbharta, is not really supporting coup. Not a communist, sir. Who is your favorite non-BJP CM? And is Modi the best PM? My favorite non-BJP CM is Naveen Patnaik. And is Modi the best PM? Time will tell. It's too early to say. Shniji's future of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka will come out of it, a bit bruised, but it won't collapse. Pakistan gets into the same situation, it will collapse. Adinath Dapke, I am an NRI, sir, living in USA. How can people like us help to our Sanatan Dharma in India? Well, you can support the Indic cause and you can fund them. That is the best way you can help. Sunni, Sir Charan Sparsh, are Shia more liberal as compared to Sunni Muslims, or they are in Al Taqiyya in India, as are very less in numbers? They are both the same. Well, if we go by the direct evidence, then we find that in Iran they are as regressive as they are in Saudi Arabia. So there's very little to choose between them. In India, of course, they're smaller in number, but then you mustn't forget that the Bahmani kingdoms, who were actually Shia, they were as oppressive as any Sunni kingdom later on. They also demolished temples. They also, when they wanted to show their power, they vandalized temples. Example, after Battle of Talikot, the way they completely massacred the Vijayanagar troops, civilians, and also the way they burned that city, demolished our temples, demolished and vandalized our murtis. Well, that was as bad as any Aurangzeb or Alauddin Khilji. Bose, Bhagat, Azad, Bharat. Okay. Answer is our constitution flawed? Can it be fixed? I wouldn't say it is flawed, but definitely it has outlived its utility. In any case, it was a bad copy of Western ideas. It simply adopted the constitution that British made for us, the in the Government of India Act 1935, and it was adapted, adopted to the extent of 80% and adapted to the rest of the 20%. So there is very little that is original in this. We need more originality. We need to live down the imperialist past. So, Republic 2.0 is the need of the hour. This constitution has to be changed, not just changed, it has to be substituted wholesale. आश्रय सचदेवा सर, आपको क्या लगता है इतनी सीट्स राज्यसभा में होने के बावजूद why is BJP not bringing important bills like UCC, Place of Worship Act, Population Control Bill, Waqf Property Act? Well, सबका विश्वास, सबकी तृप्ति. The Lone Explorer. Next, the Lone Explorer. If delayed justice is supposed as injustice, why courts in India are given summer and winter holidays? Well, this is a wonderful colonial institution that has managed to not just survive but has actually thrived, and has thrived so well that it doesn't care anything for anyone else. So that is what this particular institution is. Next, Om Prakash Chaudhary. So, what do you think will win the Vidhan Sabha in Rajasthan? Well, I can say if elections happen today, BJP will win hands down. Hands down. Next, Aegis. Is there any infighting going on in Pakistan and its establishment? Yes, it is. There is a tremendous fight going on within establishment, within the army, as a matter of fact. Prajwal, Shri Venkatanivasaye Srinivasaya Mangalam Nishchitam. Dheeraj Latter. So, what is the realistic cure of judiciary after taking an occupant the weak stance of central government and factoring in that they will not do anything? I think Republic 2.0 is the only answer. Next, Shaumali Chatterjee. What is the future of West Bengal? Will it be able to claim its lost glory and sense of nationalism? It depends on the Bhadralok. Bhadralok, if it gets out of its leftist mold, then it has the capacity to galvanize West Bengal the same way that it ignited Bengal in 1905 after the Bengal partition. Remember, it was entirely the Bhadrlok that carried on that particular revolutionary activity because the Muslims, led by the Nawab of Dhaka, were all in favor of the partition because it suited them well. But the Bhadrlok still, where we had great people like Sri Aurobindo and the Anushilan Samiti, it was successful in reversing that partition. That is the only instance of a revolutionary movement successfully reversing a British policy in India. After that, of course, we got the pacifists like Gandhi, and that revolutionary spirit was completely killed. You can still rekindle that revolutionary spirit, but Bhadralok must perform. Namaste, Guruji. How to read a book in an easier and effective way with having interest? Any tricks? It's a tough one to me. Please guide me, Guruji. Help me. Well, your reading, the speed of reading, and the concentration is completely dependent on your interest in the topic. So, you should read the topics in which you are really interested. Rashtravat, can Modi correct Supreme Court corruption? The simple answer is no. And I can just explain it. It just doesn't seem to have the political will to do it. He is a typical Gujarati who prefers to negotiate settlements. He prefers negotiated settlements to confrontation. So, his negotiated settlement with the judiciary is going on well. So, why should he bother? Sudarshan Chakrabarti, where do you see BJP going in Bengal politics? Will BJP able to retain its LS seats in 2024? No way. They can't retain any seats. In fact, not more than one. My prediction is they can retain only the Darjeeling seat. No other seat they will retain. How's non-minister Nishikant Dubey so powerful? Well, I think he's powerful because uh, he is probably the most effective person available to BJP in Jharkhand. That's what gives him the power. He's also articulate and hardworking. Next, Dr. Ashish Dixit. What problem is going to be faced to a person who is going to present a bill to amend the constitution to Hindu Rashtra? Is it possible, or we are only given a hope to get their position in parliament to have benefits only? No, a private member's bill hasn't been passed, I think, for over 2 decades. So that is one, and I don't think it will get the support of the ruling party either. The ruling party is happily ensconced and is very much in support of the status quo. I don't think it has any inclination to bring Hindu Rashtra. May I please make a video requesting government to institute a general category commission on the lines of OBC, SC, ST, Minorities Commission. BJP gets 25% January general category votes out of 37%. Well, BJP is in the habit of kicking the general category, so you don't expect them to bring in general category commission. The only problem is that none of the other outfits, none of the other parties are targeting that space on the right that has been vacated by the BJP, because BJP feels that those votes are anyway going to come to it. So somebody needs to go and aim for that space. The day they aim for that space, you'll get everything, whether it's a general category commission or all the withdrawal of benefits that we are demanding for minorities. Even a definition of minorities could come. So many other things, so many, especially the Hindu centric things that we are demanding, they'll all come. But then there's got to be a party that should target that rightist space that has been completely vacated by the BJP, but nobody else is occupying, so it gets those votes by default. Next. QWERTY. Ajay Kail, blogger, claims the Bollywood is controlled by Jewish Pathan Khans and Jewish Peshawari Khatris. I looked up Salman Khan's grandfather is actually from Afghanistan who migrated to India in mid 1800s and Al Qazai Pathan, your opinion? These are way out and I should say outlandish opinions. Jewish Peshawari Khatris, whatever that means. I have no idea. In any case, I don't like to comment on what other people say in their videos or blogs. Ravish Katoch, Namaskar. How can we leverage the current economic situation of Pakistan? Should we buy out POK? I think we just let them fester. That's the best way. If you just let them fester, I think they will implode by themselves. Never interrupt an enemy when it is headed for disaster. Never interrupt. Let them do it themselves. Why should we bother? Madhuri Vardhan, Dixit sir, is there any Christian missionaries behind Stalin's statement to separate South India? Quite possible, quite possible, quite possible. We did a video with Sri Iyer on this subject, I think only about a week and a half back, where we've dealt with this subject in detail. And Christian missionaries is one of the factors. And the other is, of course, the left and Stalin's own stupidity. हेमंत रघुवंशी ने शिया सुन्नी की लड़ाई में भारत पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश की सीमाओं का भेद बांग्लादेशी और रोहिंग्याओं का सफलतापूर्वक जनसांख्यिकी की परिवर्तन करना शांति दूतों का अपने टेस्ट के प्रति श्रद्धा इतना शानदार मैनेजमेंट करने के बाद भी अपने लक्ष्य को प्राप्त न कर पाए तो ये तो ठीक नहीं है ना ये क्या कह रहे हैं आप हमें कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है भाई साहब तो आप क्या पूछना चाहते हैं ये मुझे बिल्कुल क्लियर नहीं है कृपया अपने प्रश्न को स्पष्ट करें आश्रय सचदेव सर जब से कोविड आया है मोदी जी ने एक बार भी कश्मीर या पाकिस्तान का जिक्र नहीं किया है किया सिर्फ एक बालाकोट ही करना था उसके बाद नथिंग देखिए साहब हमको केवल वोट चाहिए जो भी वोट के लिए उपयुक्त होगा वो हम करेंगे जब वोट का मामला नहीं होता है तो हमसे आप बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपेक्ट मत कीजिए हेमंत सर nowadays I am receiving too many messages justifying every action of government. I'm surprised at this. That is because they are feeling a bit jittery, I guess. They're feeling jittery, so they are giving you all those messages. Next, Xander, born gamer. Okay, born gamer. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. सर एक तरफ इसराइल और यूएसए है I2U2 और एक तरफ रशिया के साथ ईरान का आने वाला गेम के लिए इंडियन डिप्लोमेट्स और ब्यूरोक्रेसी तैयार है मुझे लगता है तैयार है दैट इज वन एरिया where they are doing quite well and I'm quite happy about it actually मैं बिल्कुल उससे बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ सही बताऊँ आपको नेक्स्ट आदिनाथ डापके anti-Brahmin sentiment is at all-time high in India. Any thoughts? I don't think it is an all-time high. It was an all-time high in the, I should say, the period 2000 to 2010. After that, it's been on the wane. The only thing is that because of the internet, you see it more. That is actually the fact. Next, can we, Nityananda Bhadra, can we create Hindu Rashtra through armed revolution? Uh, Creating Hindu Rashtra through armed revolution in such a vast country, I think there can be better ways. You have to build a narrative first. Without a narrative, you won't be able to do anything. And if you create a powerful enough narrative, then it may happen even without any armed revolution. Next, Mayank Ratnawat. Namaste. Please provide UPSC book list, please. I'm very sorry. I have been trying to procure a book list. I think we should be soon able to give you for general knowledge at least. Next, what's wrong, my lord? Say, seems RW BJP taken democracy and FOE too seriously. We must bring law to ban jail leftists like they do when they are in power. In fact, we don't even need to do that. If we actually implement the rule of law strictly, then these leftists and Islamists and all will be taken care of. The problem is that we do not even apply the law equally. Karan Khatwani said, India, some organizations have already made Balochistan government in exile. Please look at Arifa Jakia's video. And the controversial leader Naila Qadri Baloch is leading that group. She is here on a medical visa. How she's done that, I think she's causing trouble for herself. So also, a lot of other people are saying, especially I saw Tariq Fateh's tweet today that she is a fake. So I am not quite sure of her status. So no comments. DPS जादान प्रणाम गुरुजी SM पर कल अजमेरी दरगाह को खाली पड़ा देखा उनके खादिमों को उतरे हुए चेहरे देखे बहुत प्रसन्नता हुई इससे पता चलता है कि हिंदू समाज अपने आप में एक इकोसिस्टम है अगर वो समग्र हिंदुत्व के पथ पर चलना शुरू कर दे जिसमें बहुत बड़ा योगदान जेडी का भी है आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जादौन साहब ध्यान ये रखना है कि ये जो है ये कुछ दिनों के लिए नहीं होना चाहिए इसके लिए हमें सबको अपने समाज को सतत याद दिलाते रहना पड़ेगा ऐसा ना हो कि फिर कुछ हमारे यहाँ से जो है वो भूले भटके फिर से वहीं जाना आरंभ कर दें क्योंकि ये फिर हर तरह के ट्रिक्स अपनाएंगे और केवल अजमेर ही नहीं मुझे लगता है कि हमें किसी भी ऐसे स्थान पर नहीं जाना चाहिए जहां हमारी आस्था का सम्मान ना हो और यह जो दरगाहें निश्चित रूप से हमारी आस्था का सम्मान नहीं करती हैं केवल हमारी जो एक आस्था है कि कण कण में भगवान बसे हैं उसका दुरुपयोग करती है नेक्स्ट what is Iran's stand on Balochistan? Would they help? No, they will not help because they think that they have a Balochistan, their province on their side. It's called Sistine Balochistan. And they think that if they support Balochistan on the side of Pakistan, then there will be trouble on their side as well. So they do not support, but they are not uh, excessively severe also. They're sort of neutral. Shri Hari. Shri Hari Ji. So do more shorts to help with YouTube algorithm to find you. We want your messages to reach a lot of Indians. Okay, Shri Hari. Good advice. Next. Jai Bharat, Jai Punjab. 14th August is coming. How can we force Bharat Sarkar to declare 14th as Hindu Sikh Holocaust Day and mourn, remember lakhs of people killed in 1947 when they are not declaring a Holocaust on our own Kashmiri brethren? It's idle to expect them to do anything for the Hindu Sikhs killed in 1947. We have to take this upon ourselves again and force them to do it. Requests are not helping, you've seen. Why don't my lords take IELTS to test their skills? Okay. I think IELTS they should clear, but I'm not too sure of a strong law test. QWERTY. So regarding dating of Ramayana and Mahabharata, Hiranyakashipu descendants, Virochana 10,650 BC, Mahabali 10,600, Kalanemi 10,500, Sarnabhanu 10,400, Nileshwar dating Ramayana at 11,000 BC. Around is laughable for me. Your thoughts? Well, I don't know the basis of your calculation, so I am in no position to comment. Next. Slayer. Okay, welcome Slayer. PP Guruji. Ashirwad. Giving Nupur Sharma relief was only monkey balancing since they had to release Chubair before 6 p.m. and Shinti Chud in fact had got the order typed before the arguments began and also all cases to Delhi police since full faith on Bapu 2.0 and Chanakya that they will not charge him with serious charges like 108. Well, Slayer, you use very colorful language. I think language can be decent. Uh, well, I don't say that about Chandrachud because Chandrachud has a habit of being legally correct, and that we have seen in all kind of cases, whether they are from this side or from that side. Next, संजय जी राजकुमार इसरानी सर मनीष सिसोदिया की याददाश्त कब खाएगी केजरीवाल की भविष्यवाणी कब सच होगी फॉर सिसोदिया अरेस्ट हाँ ईश्वर चाहेगा तो जल्दी ही होगी नेक्स्ट श्री हरि what's your assessment of Russia Ukraine war is Russia winning on all accounts Russia is definitely winning there's no doubt that Russia is winning but of course they probably may not have accounted for the losses that suffered they probably uh, taken too much time to achieve their objectives, and even then, they have achieved only part of their objectives. So, long way to go. Next, Slayer. So, two Madani factions are coming back together. Will the Devbandi become a bigger monster now? That's worrying, definitely. Chacha Bhatija coming together, then that is definitely a cause for worry. But we must also survey why they are coming together. Are they facing tough competition from some of them, like PFI, or what is it? That I think needs more analysis. Martian. Can India sign a contract like Article 370 with Sri Lanka and take care of our neighbors? I wouldn't like India to get into that. How does it help India to take over a place like Sri Lanka? I don't see any benefit. Slayer, Sir Bombay High Court gave bail to Bilal, citing even though he said he will do jihad and amassed weapons in Aurangabad, but he did not act on it. Earlier, another Kotha released another Haratidda even though he declared Zawahiri as caliph. Where is the lacuna in the law which these jihadi judges are exploiting? Well, the lacuna is that the UAPA amendment did not go far enough. And it has been 8 years, but BJP has failed to bring in a law like TADA or POTA. That should be brought in immediately. संजय जी राजकुमार इसरानी दीदी हो दीदी अब क्या करेगी अपने मिनिस्टर के अरेस्ट पर अभी तो वो कुछ दिनों तक शॉक में रहेगी, उसके बाद फिर वो तय करेगी. नेक्स्ट. Slayer, why is the world bailing out Pakistan repeatedly while turning a blind eye to Sri Lanka? Is it only because of hate against non-Abrahamics? Well, even Sri Lanka is non-Abrahamic for that matter. They are Sinhalese, and Sinhalese is and they're a Buddhist civilization. So even that is non-Abrahamic. So I don't think the comparison is quite correct. But of course, Pakistan they bail out because they think that Pakistan is a good counterbalance to India. Hardik, how do you see the future of India? I think the future of India is very bright. We only need to get a few things going, we need to get a few things together. That's all. आश्रय सचदेव सर कोई नए रिफॉर्म्स लाए बिना क्या बीजेपी सोच रही है कि सदैव उन्हें 370 और राम मंदिर पे वोट मिल जाएगा हमेशा के लिए? ये तो टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड हुआ. वो है इस समय इनके साथ. और एक्चुअली ये इस समय समस्या ये है कि अ, हमारे राहुल गांधी जी ने जो उनको वॉकओवर दिया है, उसके कारण वो पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त है. उनको किसी प्रकार का कोई थ्रेट नहीं है. वो निश्चिंत हैं कि 2024 तो वो जीतेंगी, और जिस प्रकार की स्थिति है, उसमें लग रहा है कि उनका सोचना ये बहुत अधिक गलत भी नहीं है. इसलिए उनको कोई अर्जेंसी नहीं है, कोई प्रेशर नहीं है. तो ये प्रेशर हम ही लोग उनके ऊपर ला सकते हैं, जो जिन्होंने उनको वोट देके जिताया. Slayers are in the Rul's strategy. They always create an alibi, a stalking or affair or road rage, a personal enmity, and hence the police fail to register it as hate crime. How can this be legally construed as hate crime? Well, change the law. For instance, the call for Sartan se Juda should be treated as an abetment to murder and should be charged under Section 115 IPC, where the minimum punishment is 7 years if the crime is not committed. If the crime is committed, then the punishment is same as murder. Ravi Raj, hi Sanjay ji, we see that Christians and Muslims portray victim card and constitution first and do 100 times more violence covertly. Likewise, Christians don't portray their ruthless conversion even a bit, but Hindus start dancing for converting a few. So, small disagreement with you, sir. We need to be covert while portraying it to the world and overt while taking any action. What do you think? This model of narrative is adopted and working everywhere. No, but when did I say that we must trumpet our efforts very openly? I don't think I've ever said that. So why is the disagreement? Disagreement should be there if I've said something to that effect. I don't remember having said that. So what you say is generally okay by me. Yes, whom will Muslims of UP vote in 2024 SP oblique Congress? I see them going with Behenji. Free to say, but that's what my hunch is. Next. Players. So some Awadh Oja, apparently among the top IAS coaches in the country, has made absolutely crass remarks against Gopeshwar and sang pians about Islam. Why are these getting away with the abominable comments every time? I haven't seen that. I've just heard that today. I will investigate into this. And if this has happened, this might be falling foul of the law. Next. Sanjay ji, Rajkumar Israni, as per figure coming out in social media, the TD confiscated more than 1 lakh crore assets in last 6 years. The reason for opposition stomach. Reason for stomach. I didn't get the question. Are you saying that how come opposition has such a large stomach? Well, they've been doing it for 70 years. Next. Disha Parekh. Thank you very much, Dishaji. Thank you for your help. Uh, Quality अमार्त्य सेन को उसकी रॉथशाइल्ड वाइफ ने नोबेल प्राइज दिलवाया उसको. What a great wife. Ah, yes, I agree. He's got it only because of Rothschild. Shrikant, hello sir, lots of love from Maharashtra. Thank you. My question is, do you think if Hindu boycotted the Asur community in India, the community who threw the stone to another community on the festival can make them financially weak and make them leave? Just like 969 movement carried out in Malaysia by Ashit Piratu. But it will definitely have consequences and will definitely have an impact. And we should definitely try and corner the halal economy kind of things that they do, halal and zakat economy. That we must counter because it is for our own safety. Vyaktivad and BJP. Jai Bharat, Jai Punjab. Will it harm BJP like Parivarpad? In the long run, yes. Next. Shri Harsha, Namaskar Sanjay sir. I'm missing spiritual sessions in Jaipur dialogues. Please include them also, sir. Well, a lot of our spiritual gurus or who do conversation and spirituals are right now away. Shri Bharat Gop, Shri Subhash Kak, all of them have given me dates after this month. Next, Ranja Romeo, thank you जी. अभिजात सोमवंशी जी, अब पुष्पेंद्र जी क्यों नहीं आते, क्या मनमुटाव है आपसे? वो मेरा फ़ोन नहीं उठाते. अब आप ही अंदाज़ा लगा लीजिए. नेक्स्ट, Sneeges, when Gandhi Nehru were not able to convince Muslims, what Modi with Sabka Vishwas is trying to achieve, is this an effort not in wrong direction? It is absolutely an effort in the wrong direction. But right now, they're flying very high. They're not listening to anyone. Next, Ram Kapoor. Namaste, Sanjay ji. Please tell what is going to happen in Pakistan. Also, please call Amjad Ayub Mirza. Please give full answer. Alarming situation in POK. Pakistan is bound to disintegrate. That's what my opinion is. How long it is going to take, I cannot say. Whether it will take 5 years or 10 years or 20, that I am not in a position to say. But 100% Pakistan is going to disintegrate. Imran Khan has himself predicted, and he said that it would disintegrate into three portions. Maybe it may not be three, it may be five, but disintegrate it will. Next. Abhishek, sir, I have heard that some of rapists of Ajmer Chishti sex scandals are out on bail or free, and victims' girls need to attend court trials today also and relive the trauma. Since I think the conviction has taken place in that particular case. These girls seem to be daughters of IS, IPS. Still, situation like it. No, we don't know the identity. Next. Madhri Vardhan, sir, why there are no temples of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama temples before Common Era? Some people say Buddha temples are converted to Hindu temples. And that is all what is called type that is spread by the leftists. And we've done shows on this already. As far as the temples not existing is because all the temples in North India were destroyed. Next. Nikhil, how do the political parties get their huge funding? The government collects taxes on the public to operate. Do the political parties only rely on charities from super rich like Ambani's, Adani's, and Tata? Theoretically, yes. But in practice, there's also a lot of other funding going on. Next. We were divided in past, so outside is invaded. We are still divided by regional parties. How can we get united to fight with Muslims? Is communism the future? Communism can never be the future, but communism, of course, is a very disruptive force. If you're not conscious of communism, that it can take over, and it can take over, but of course, it will not last. It will destroy itself, like it happened in the USSR, or it happened in places like Cambodia. But the danger is always very real. Next. Devesh, good evening, sir. What must we read, learn, and observe to be truly worthy of representing India on a global stage? I'm preparing for UPSC, and it is my desire to join foreign services. Oh, well, we must. I think I gave a detailed list. I will probably reproduce it. It was published by my friend Sandeep Balakrishna, and I think we need to probably republish it. We will do it. विजय कटारे सादर नमन। आजकल भाव तोड़ से कर जयपुर डायलॉग में क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं? वो कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं, उनकी स्वास्थ्य की समस्या है। वो 15-20 मिनट से ज़्यादा बैठ नहीं सकते एक स्थान पर, इसलिए वो कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं। नेक्स्ट, Abhishek, recent events are a blessing in disguise for Hindu Samaj in general. This is an opportunity for us to strengthen VHP and Bajrang Dal. That is, if they want to be strengthened. We are always there to help them and to strengthen them. But the point is that probably they are not wanting to be strengthened. They are taking directions from somewhere else. They are not autonomous anymore. Next. आरएम, अवाम में कुफ्र और जहालत फैलती जा रही है, दीन की दावत दीजिए हुजूर। हाँ जी 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 जी, करेक्ट। संदीप सिग्रोहा, hello sir, I want to ask why Hindus never considered Telegram like apps to unite, where we can add 2,000, 200,000 Hindus in a group. By doing so, we can trend some topic on Twitter and also can create street power when needed. Telegram is picking up, though a bit slowly. Definitely picking up. Next. तानुआचार्य, क्वेश्चन सर, आप एक्चुअल मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन का रिकॉर्डेड डेटा से हमेशा कम क्यों बताते हैं? क्योंकि यही फैक्ट है। आप पूछ लीजिए जम्मू वालों से। वहाँ तो ऑफिशियली उन्होंने एजिटेट किया है ना कि हमारी पॉपुलेशन जो है वो कम बताई गई है, मुसलमानों की जो है उससे ज़्यादा बताई गई। ये तो फैक्ट है। वेयर एवर दे हैव द मीन्स दे विल इन्फ्लेट देयर पॉपुलेशन, बिकॉज दैट इज ऑल्सो अ मीन्स ऑफ ओवर ऑइंग द ऑपोजिशन. You overawe the other party by simply stating your numbers by inflating it. They're parallels. The sea in Lebanon. They didn't let the census happen. They kept inflating their population by word of mouth. Next. Abhishek, I am your great admirer. I have one request to you regarding Modi ji. Kindly avoid ridiculing him. Instead, provide him constructive criticism. We have been trying to provide constructive criticism. If he is not doing things as we expect, please try to figure out his constraints and then offer him solutions. For example, I think he needs help in dealing with Luch's media and Delhi. Okay, if you say so, Abhishek, but the facts are not quite different. We know quite a few things which we cannot reveal here. Rangavi Narayanan, dear Sanjay ji, I feel you are a lone crusader. I wish you get more support. Thanks for your pick. Comparing Hindu boys with stone pelters, I grew up exactly like one in the pick from the World Heritage Ranganatha Swami Temple in Sri Rangam. May Lord Ranganath bless you with long and healthy life. Jai Hindustan. Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad, Mr. Narayanan. Next. Abhishek, recent statement by HM during Vimochan of Dr. Ratnu's book says something. He says some people advise him not to attend the event. Who? James Bond. Yes, James Bond is quite capable of doing that. That is possible. Next. JD Lover. Okay, that's an interesting name. Sanjay ji, invite Tommy Robinson from UK. He has been right-wing activist and reporter as well. Been fighting against Islam in UK past many years. For that reason, he has been banned from YouTube, FB, Twitter, etc. He has lots of information to share from UK. Okay, good idea. Let me find a contact. Abhishek, when we have our government and we are not able to develop our ecosystem, our network and government, then it is our failure. Enemies Made inroads in government. We need people like you to make inroads in government and execute our positive agenda. It's not as if we don't have network, but those networks they run into stiff opposition from the government itself. Anand Vardhan Tiwari. So is Naila Qadri's ISI mole as Arif Ajakya today told? I don't know. If Arif Ajakya and Tariq Fateh are both saying the same thing, then it could be. नेक्स्ट सुमित कुमार हेलो संजय जी सर विकास दिव्यकीर्ति ने कंफर्म किया है कि वो यूपीएससी क्वालिफाइड है भाई हमने तो पूछा चैलेंज दिया सब कुछ किया वो तो जवाब ही नहीं देता पट्टा नेक्स्ट Madhuri Vardhan, is there any reference of Akhanda Bharat in Puranas or in Itihasas? Yes, yes, Vishnu Puran is there, no? Uttaram yat samudrasya. Uttaram yad samudrasya. Himadrischaiva dakshine. Santati tad bharatina. Varsham tad bharatinam. Sorry. Varsham tad bharatinam bharati yatra santati. This is in Vishnu Puran. Kamlesh Mishra, Namaskar. Major Hindu population is middle class. Upper middle class don't vote in elections because they think that all politicians work only for their seat. When will politicians work for the country and why so much appeasement for minorities? Why can't minorities go to the countries where they are majority? Yes, there is a hadith. There is a hadith that says that. Timrizi is hadith numbers 1604. They say that the believers should not live among the Murti Pujak or what we call in English wrongly so, idol worshippers. So they should not be living among idol worshippers. They should do hijrat or they should do exile. They should exile themselves out of the lands of shirk. That is very much there. That first part I don't quite agree. The voting percentage is going up every year, and even middle class is voting quite heavily now. It is the upper class maybe that doesn't go to vote. सत्य मोहंती नमस्कार संजय जी मियाँ गहलोत राज में आप कब जेल जा रहे हो भाई साहब आप हमारे शुभचिंतक हैं या कि हमारे दुश्चिंतक हैं नमस्कार नेक्स्ट पवन BJP hasn't fulfilled any poll manifesto promise other than half-filled 370. What about UCC, population control bill? I'm not in favor of population control bill. Release of Hindu temples from state control. That all they have not promised. Out of the unfulfilled promises, only UCC remains. Leave alone anything for Hindu welfare. Is 8 years with full majority not enough? Utterly disappointed. I too. I am too. I am also disappointed. Next. Next, please. Amit, thank you very much. RM, Sanjay said recession seems to be looming in the US and Canada. Any comments? Yes, it has to be there, and they are themselves responsible for it by precipitating that calamitous war in Ukraine. And they had probably an idea that they would prolong their Pax Americana that way. It seems that Pax Americana will come unstuck after de-dollarization happens. And the de-dollarization is the next calamity that is going to hit the US. And it will be very good for the emerging markets, BRICS, for instance. Jai Bharat, Jai Punjab. What percentage of IS share your ideology or are Congressy? Well, most of them are fence sitters. And maybe about 5 to 10% share my ideology. Devesh Yadav, where can I find Sandeep Balakrishna publication? You can go to his portal that's called Dharma Dispatch. Next. Avinash, please give an appreciation statement on S. Jayashankar. I think he's doing a wonderful job and I've been appreciating him regularly. Nityanand Bhadra. I can help you research on Sri Sai Baba. Sri Sai Baba was a Hindu and even has done Ghar Vapsi of a Muslim. Please do, please do. Please share whatever you have on the WhatsApp. You have the WhatsApp number. You can see in the description. Please, before we part, we request everyone, we are now towards the end of July and we haven't quite achieved our goal for this month. इस महीने का जो हमारा लक्ष्य है वो हम प्राप्त नहीं कर पाए हैं, इसलिए आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि प्लीज़ फंड अस, प्लीज़ हमें आप आर्थिक सहयोग करें. थैंक यू ऑल व्यूअर्स. जय हिंद. वंदे मातरम.